your kapu while you're hapu.
When it comes to service delivery for, new parents, new mama and pepe, my heart breaks a little bit really, because I see that we use this Western model that tends to focus on their physical well-being. So we don't tend to look at emotional well-being or let alone spiritual well-being.
I remember when I was pregnant with her, at 30 weeks, I woke up one morning and couldn't feel her move. And I kind of thought, because I was still working, I had 2 beautiful kids and we were living out at Rahui Pōkeka. And I called my midwife on the way to work and I said to her, I'm not really sure if it's just baby being lazy today, but she hasn't moved all morning. So went to work as usual. In my head, I'm Māori. I've got wairua and I've got grandparents who are looking over me. So I didn't think anything that was, out of the unordinary. Got to work and, this is the last trimester and she's still not moving. So I went and saw my midwife. She listened to the heartbeat and she said, look, let's just go up to the hospital and just make sure that baby is fine. So we went up to the hospital. When they put the scanning machine over my puku, they monitored it for 12 minutes and then they said to me, this baby needs to come out tonight. So up at the hospital, I called my partner and he was there what seemed like 2 minutes later. And the surgeon came in and what seemed like forever, they couldn't get the spinal in. So they called the big chief to come in and they said, we've got to put you to sleep. And I was like, there's no way you're putting me to sleep. I didn't even know what's going on. So straight away, that was my experience of my last child being born. I've had a cesarean before and my baby's come out screaming like, hello world, here I am. But this baby didn't. And I could see that she was purple and I could see that they rushed her away and started reviving her. Nobody's telling me anything and there's something going on with my baby. And they rushed her away to revive her and bring her back to life. I longed for her, I cried for her, and I had to go home and milk myself and then go back up and feed when they say that I fed. So it really ripped our relationship apart. So being up at the hospital, I guess what I wanted to say was that it's a very lonely place for a mother. And when I say all I wanted was for someone to wrap their arms around me all the time, because your whānau have to go away and deal with the rest of the whānau. So the mother's left there. We look to other Māori nurses, we look to other Māori providers, but there's nothing. And as a mother, that's when I knew, shit, I'm actually a product of the system. I'm just a part of a complex system that works not for me or my child, but for something that they need to manage. So we were separated for 2 days, me and her. But over that time, I just wanted someone to hold me and love me and tell me that what I was going through was absolutely okay and you're going to come to the end of it. Even as a practitioner in my field of mahi. And every time I talk about this mahi, that swells up. We were there for 2 months. I saw 1.5 Māori nurses up there. So we stayed up in the hospital for 8 weeks until they deemed what was healthy for her to come home. That means she was thriving, what they could see, and putting on weight. The whole experience, one of not being home with her, in my head I was set. We have the baby, we come home as a whānau. That was blown out of the water. I wasn't who I really was. I tried to withdraw myself from the world. I tried to just focus on her well-being, but I couldn't, because I really didn't know where I was as a mum. It just honestly took forever. Her dad took over. I was the milking machine. He literally took over everything. To tell you the truth, I removed myself from my whānau and thought, no, studying, I'll get away, I'll study. And he just resumed mum and dad, to be real, actually. Now that I think of it, yeah. Hello, yeah, that's where it's at. Their dad resumed the role of mum and dad, while I just kind of carried on with the rest of what I had to do for our people. Hey, today it works, you know? But, looking back at it, yeah, that's what I did, is basically just left my role as a mum. The reason I am the nurse I am today is because of what's happened. If I hadn't have gone through what I had gone through, I am the woman who I am, but that experience said, you go be a nurse now, because you are always going to be broke, you are always going to have children, and life is just going to be life. There's no right time to be a nurse. And if this is what you went through in the system, then if you upskill yourself, then you can be there for our people a little bit more. We need our kapu to be refilled as well. Whānau are our biggest advocates. Whānau are what we look to, and whānau are the ones who empower us. During my time up there, I took Te Atarangi Kahu's books up with me because they had released a book on her. And I kept saying, man, we need to find a name for our taonga, because we kept calling her Sweet Pea. Sweet because she was the sweetest little black hairiest little baby that we had. And in Te Atarangi Kahu's book, it had ahakoa he iti no he paunamu, he tohu aroha. So no matter how big or small you are, you're as precious as greenstone, and that's where we took her name from. That spoke to me, it spoke to her dad, and as a whānau, we were like, that's her name. Te ata, thank you, that's her name. But that's what set my cup for becoming a nurse, because in those 2 months I was given a scholarship to start my nursing career, and I made a definite decision based on my experience being a mum in the system as to why I would become a nurse. You know, when you create a vision board, part of my vision board was to make sure that the people I engaged with in the system had support, were loved, and manaaki just how I wanted to be. I am here and I am now. I am a proud Māori nurse. I am Justeena Leaf.